Hey guys, how's it going today? We are going to be playing Everwing. It's actually a fun little Facebook game that my girlfriend turned me on to a few weeks ago. We played it for about a week and started to learn some stuff in it and really kind of play it together. I mean, she started like 3 hours before I did and went, hey, look at this game. And I was like, maybe I'll give it a try and maybe just drop off. And we ended up playing it for a while. We played it in the hospital. Well, I played it more than she did because she was in a lot of pain. I obviously didn't play it during the delivery or anything like that, but we've been competing and doing all sorts of different things. So to give you a basic show of what the game is, I'll go ahead and start a thing here. So it's the typical like move side to side, shoot stuff, collect coins, get things. There's power ups. So you saw the magnet that I just got makes it so that coins get closer. When they're close to me, they go right to me. That little mushroom I picked up before is giving me this double shot. And then I picked up a little tiny clover that just increases my damage for the current run. I'm going to go ahead and run into this fireball right here and kill myself. That way I can actually start talking some more. So then you've got your results screen here. You get trophies, which help you get special dragons. You've got your gems, which help you level up your characters. They also help you buy dragons. So, okay, that sound is really annoying. I don't know why that sound effect was going off. We'll just leave the music on, turn the sound effects off. Anyway, so the basic game is you do that and you try to get the highest score possible. I actually just recently beat my highest score. Got like 4,000, and the majority of my friends usually sit somewhere around 1,500. And then Nicole ended up getting like 2,300 or something like that, like at night before I was about to go to bed, so then I had to stay up for like another half hour and beat it. And then just before we started this boss here, who's a Fluffy, there's a lot of different bosses in the game. They have different behaviors based on their adjectives that they're given and stuff like that. If they do different things, they have different weaknesses and things like that. So anyway, we're on a level 5 boss right now. The level 4 boss, we waited to fight. We finished off the level 3 boss sometime last night, like early last night, and then she had the entire time to start it up, and then apparently just before I went to go pick up my paycheck, because I have off today, went and picked up my paycheck on my day off, she decided that she was going to start fighting at the same time I did. So I got in a run, and I did like 200-something thousand damage on it, and then she got a run and did like 400,000 damage on it, and... or no, I was closer than that. She was like 420 damage, 420,000 damage that she did to it or something like that. And I noticed that she had gotten that just as I was finishing up my run, my second run on it, and my second run I ended up getting like 600,000 damage, which is pretty much the maximum amount of damage that somebody could do to a boss. It's just straight double shot mushrooms the entire time. Anyway, the game is cute. There's a couple events going on currently. Boss raid event called Smoke and Mirrors, which is going until September 18th. You can get cool stuff. Apparently she is part of it. I haven't actually read up everything, but it tells you here like the chances of like finding stuff. Still haven't gotten a legendary chest or an epic chest. We haven't gotten platinum chest either. We pretty much just open up gold chests and stuff like that. Yeah, so we Arcana is one of the characters. Sphinx just started a couple days ago, and then Dragons of the Lost City is the current one that gives us like special stuff. So this guy right here is the big major dragon that's in this group, and then there's a few of these other ones. I think I have this one and then like the lower version of this one, and maybe that's somewhere. But anyway, it gives you wildcard magic, which enhances abilities of your different characters. So Aurora is a character in this, and she has an automatic magnet. It's not as strong as the one that you pick up in-game, but it does get it, and that's the one I'm waiting for. I have to get to level 19 in order to be able to obtain that. And then there's Lenore, who, once you get hit, you're dead. Lenore has the ability to, once she gets hit, she becomes a ghost form, and then she can continue going. So you actually get 2 lives. This actually gives you 50% damage while you're in that ghost form, so if you want to do tons of damage to a boss when you happen to be fighting them, use the wild card magic character, who is Ursus, and then becomes something else. Jade is a fairly new one. Arcana is obviously a very new one too. So the characters that you start off with Alice, and she's just the regular character. You spend gold to level them up, and so you get her leveled up, and then you have the ability to get her at like level 6 or something like that. You level her all the way up. She gets double XP for dragons, so you can level up your dragons, and then you have to have 2 of the same dragon to evolve it. You have to have 4 because you evolve 1 into 1, or you evolve 2 into a level 2, you evolve the other 2 into a level 2, and then you have to use both of the level 2s to get a level 3 one. Anyway, she completes quests twice as fast, so if you got a really high quest that you want done faster, so there's a 24-hour quest that you have access to at all times, and then there's like a little 30-minute quest that you have access to. If you happen to get her, you can use her on the 24-hour quest, and then I think at level 22 you unlock the next one that I don't have, so there's a half-hour quest, a 2-hour quest, a 4-hour quest, and then the 24-hour quest. And then I have Lily, who actually gives me double gems, and she's actually not that fantastic after you start doing the boss raids and stuff like that, because you get tons of gold drops. Earlier I had like 400,000 gold, and then I just bought a bunch of eggs to hatch stuff out of. And then Aurora is the character that I want. She's got the automatic magnet, and then I want to evolve my Ursus that I showed you guys before. And then these are the other characters. She is the last character to get, and I have no idea what level you have to be to get her. It's going to take a really long-ass time. But anyway, it looks like she's got dual cannon, so if her ability is to have the constant double shot, that would be great. You can also only level the characters up to 260 damage as their base. And then you've got your sidekicks, and there's one on each side of you. So this is the one that I've got on my right side, this is the one I've got on my left side. And then there's a ton of different types of dragons. Most of these are just rares. What I do with rares is I level them up, and then, well, see, if I hit sell right here, I get gold for them. But if I level them up, you get more gold for them, and then if you level them up to their max for their level, for their star level, so star 1, you can go up to level 10, star 2, you can go up to level 20, star 3, you can go up to level 30. You get the most out of having them the higher level. And once you max out each of their, after you have them maxed out in each star category, you get the trophies rather than the gold. So you can level them up to, say, 9, and then sell them for way more than what's right here. Or you can level them up to 10, sell them for trophies, and then when you decide that you want to buy some dragons, you can either buy them for gold, really low level, you can get a silver for a few trophies, you can spend a lot of gold to get a gold one, which has a 12% chance of legendary, 88% chance of rare, which legendaries have the effects of 2 different rare dragons, so there's really no point in going for rares. Magical, which is a 70% chance of rare, 30% chance of legendary, and there's a legendary, which is just 100% chance of legendary. Legendary is the only thing I buy, that's the only thing I use my trophies for. And then, of course, they're showing off who you get here. So the dragon that big dragon that I was talking about is this guy right here, is Ursus. He's a legendary, you get the potent wild card stuff. And then when you evolve dragons together, so say you consume 2 different dragons, you get something that is called a Zodiac bonus. Do I have any level 10s here? Probably not, because I usually just sell them off right away. Oh, here we go. So if I hit evolve, well, I have to choose one that it actually has, but when you click on it, it'll say no Zodiac bonus. If you have a Zodiac bonus, you get like 30% extra damage or some crap like that. I haven't actually compared the 2 together. But anyway, I usually get rid of all of my rares. I just level them up to 10, get rid of them. If I've got a bunch of them, I'll level them up to 10, evolve them together, level them up to 20, and then get rid of them. See, like these 4 right here, look, all he's got is chance of bomb bats, and bomb bats really aren't that important as long as you're dealing enough damage, which I will be. So these guys can all be evolved together, and then just sold off for a ton more. The problem is that it takes forever to level up your dragons by comparison to how fast you can get them, depending on how many friends you have and how many bosses you decide that you're going to end up defeating with them, because you can actually switch between your different friends. Here I have 4,000, she's got her, oh, it was 2,000, almost 900. And then you got all your friends that you can go ahead and go against, and all of them have their individual things, so you challenge your friends, and then at the end of each time you like one-up them in your score, you get more trophies and stuff like that. So what I was doing with Blake was we were just like slightly topping each other's scores and getting more trophies each time, and then I forgot that I was playing against him and then dropped like 2,000 something. So not a really high chance of him doing that anymore. I primarily play against Nicole, and then we made a... You can also make it so that, because it goes off of Messenger, so any groups that you have in Messenger, say you have friend A and friend B, you can fight friend A, you can fight friend B, you can fight the bosses in friend A and friend B. That's 2 bosses that you've defeated. You get the trophies from those, and all of the chests that you can open from them. And then you can also create a group between them, so you have friend A, friend B, friend AB, and then you have the 3 that you can fight. And there originally was a way that you could just play by yourself and not actually challenge anybody, and you could have a boss there too, but for some reason, recently when I've been opening the game, it always makes me select a friend to play, so I guess if you don't have friends, you can't really play this. Sucks to be you. Get friends. Anyway, I've done the majority of the damage for this boss raid. Looks like she's done another 1% damage, so level 5 is the highest that we've gone before. You're going to need a lot of people if you actually want to get up to, like, the platinum chest or the, whatever the, like, magic chests or whatever it was. Because this is an 8% chance and the other one was like 12%, and then it just increases on your chance to actually get the character. So if you have like 10 people in here all do 10% damage, you could finish this off in maybe an hour. But then if you only have, say, me and her, we might get this done sometime later on tonight or within the next 3 days and 19 hours. So all this does is just resets all the bosses so that you have to start over from 1, that rather than like slowly whittling down a boss over the course of like a month and then getting the chest that you've worked really hard for and it just being absolute crap. I like it that because you can go back and do the easier bosses and just get the chests over again, rather than, say, because here, this one it's got like 3 times the health of the last boss we just fought, and you only get 1 extra gold chest for it. And then I ended up fighting this guy before. I've got the higher... So you've got the 3 chests down there. If you get 7.1 million damage, I've got 2.6 currently. If you manage to get the best run out of all of your friends, so at the end of a run... Here, let me just start it up and let it run. At the end of a run, it shows who does the most damage, and then if you have the most damage at the end, by the time the boss is defeated, you get an extra chest. And then whoever is the first person to fight the boss and last all 60 seconds gets a chest as well. So right here, I'm running to go get that chest, and then I'm pretty sure that I managed to get the 60 seconds as well. So once you get up to 10% damage dealt, it actually shows you a little picture, and it says your bonus chests that you have. So it's going to pop up, have both bonus chests for mine, and then Fluffy is an interesting character because, as you can see, his health bar right here is lower than before. Fluffy is actually a character that splits apart 3 different times. Also, one of the only things that I have a problem with in the game is that you can see my mouse is right in line with where my character is. If I move it over, my character actually moves farther than my mouse. So a lot of the times, if you're like trying to just like slightly move over into an area, sometimes it'll shoot you over too far. So if you're trying to go halfway across the screen and not just shoot to the other side, you're going to have some trouble if you're trying to do that with any kind of speed. Otherwise, it's just like slowly weaving between things, which becomes quite difficult with him because he splits up to 8 different guys. Yeah, he splits 3 times. So once I take this bar down, that will be a quarter of the overall boss's health, and then he'll split into 2. And then once I take those down, that'll be half the health of the overall boss. It'll split into 4, and then once I defeat those, it'll split into 8, and then you've got 8 of these little guys all going across the screen at once, and a lot of times it'll happen where like one will shoot down the middle, you have to pick which side you're on, and then after it's like already halfway down, the other ones will start to come down, and you just get trapped on one side of the screen and dead. There's absolutely no way you can avoid it. Fluffy is a really hard boss to fight when he has the one of the adjectives, Monster King, I think is what it is. Whenever they have Monster King or Monster Queen, they've got guys that come down, and then other ones that like go side to side. They do essentially what Fluffy was doing, where they just go slowly, and then eventually they drop down. Fluffy is supposed to drop down before he gets super close to you. Sometimes he'll actually come all the way to the bottom of the screen and just go across. They need to fix that. But there's special guys that every now and then, there's 3 of them that can come at once, and they just weave back and forth across the screen, and then they sit there in front of you for a little bit. They slowly turn red, and then they'll come and actually attack you. So, I don't know, I just figured I would show you guys this game because it's one that I've been like passively playing over the past few weeks, and although I know it's not like an actual like huge full-blown game, if somebody were playing this and didn't play anything else, I mean, maybe not gamer material, but I just find it interesting. This is a nice little time passer sort of thing. I mean, it's no different from somebody that played like Angry Birds or something like that. This is playable on mobile. If you play it through Messenger, you can launch it through there, and then the app will actually send you notifications through your Messenger. It'll send you messages, and you can turn off the notifications and everything else for that too. But by default, it'll just send you a message and say, hey, your quest that you sent them on is done, or your friend beat your high score, or some crap like that. So you get a little thing that pops up sometimes. It's like, hey, they topped you by 100,000 damage. You're like, you motherfucker. Because that's what happened before was when we were fighting the last one, it was a Mildred, which is one of the easiest bosses to fight, just because of the attack pattern. We ended up, I played it, and then I got done, and I noticed that she had started it at the same time, and I had to laugh because of how much I beat her by, and it was hilarious talking with her after that, because I came in the room, I was like, hey, you know I still love you, right? Even though I just completely destroyed your high score, because, I mean, that's what you get for trying to play a video game with your boyfriend when he's a hardcore gamer and, like, destroys people even in, like, Call of Duty and pretty much everything else. I can't say pretty much everything else. Primarily Call of Duty, and then anything that's got any kind of strategy to it at all, and it's based off of like reaction speed rather than like specific muscle training isn't always the easiest. Like CSGO, have a horrible time with that. But pretty much everything else I like to think that I do fairly well at. Dead by Daylight, I love playing. The problem is Rooster Teeth actually talked about it recently on one of the podcasts or something like that. Somebody was talking about how when they play video games, there are games that are like sit-down video games, not ones that you like boot up real quick, you do a couple matches and you're done, or something like that. It's like something, they were talking about Battlegrounds, I think it was. Battlegrounds isn't like something that you just sit down and you have a quick run-up. It's something that you're going to dedicate like the rest of your night to. You sit down, you start playing, you put the headphones on. Headphones are necessary if there's other distracting sounds or anything like that. Dead by Daylight, definitely one of those games. You cannot play Dead by Daylight without the sound and expect to be able to actually hit your skill checks, be able to tell where the killer is whatsoever. I mean, the best you could do without having sound in that game would be, I don't know, is there a perk that increases your... I don't think there's a perk that increases your success zone for generators. Otherwise, the rest of them are kind of optional. If you're healing anybody or anything like that, you've got to be ready to just hit that button immediately. And then as far as the killer goes, with listening for the music and the heartbeat and stuff like that, you would basically have to have premonition and then just constantly be looking around. And the thing is that if you're playing without sound, looking around is quite hard, because with playing with sound, you've got that notification that tells you, hey, you're about to have a skill check, look at the middle of the screen, be ready to hit it. If you're playing without sound and you're looking around, you're not going to be able to just immediately hit that skill check, and it's going to be quite difficult, because premonition works off of like looking around and being able to see the killer within a certain distance of you. So we're just continuing to fight here. I want to get to, there we go, 11%. And 4% chance of legendary egg. So it says first max, which is the first person to go all 60 seconds with the boss. And then best run is whoever has the most damage done in a single run during that 60 seconds. And for this guy, basically, like, when you're doing the best run, you always want to be getting the clovers, obviously. I mean, it's okay to miss them, but the mushrooms are definitely key if you're going for the max run. If you're just, like, casually fighting the boss, like, let me just get some more damage in here, it's fine. But, I mean, if you're competitive like I am, you go for the mushrooms. So, energy is these little lightning things right here, and you get one every 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. I'm not sure what the rarity of the bosses do. It doesn't seem to change anything whatsoever. I just hate it when they have ridiculous amounts of health like he currently has. So he's a giant frozen fluffy. Giant just means he's bigger on the screen, higher hitbox, larger hitbox, but that means also larger hitbox for you. In his case, if you're fighting somebody like Mildred or one of the characters that doesn't actually move, it just means that you've got more stuff to hit. It's great. Frozen Fluffy means that it just changes his affinity. So normally a Fluffy is considered like a water type enemy. So then using the grass type dragons helps you out a little bit more. He's a frozen Fluffy, so using fire against him then makes it effective, and then the Fluffy is just describing him. So if I go to one of my other friends here, let's go right here. I think I did one boss. Yeah, here we go. So this is the Tiny Dark Monster Queen. So it is the queen is who we're fighting. She is tiny, so she's got a smaller hitbox. She is dark, which just changes her affinity, I guess, so it's going to be a different thing is effective against her than normal. And then monster, which anything that says monster is just annoying as hell because there's just extra things on the screen to block your bullets and extra things to hit you. She's actually probably the hardest boss by default just because of the way that her attacks go, and starting off the game you have to try and learn the different attack patterns and things like that. So when you begin the game you end up fighting more of Mildred and the King. So King is like some gross looking slug thing with like a big thing in his chest, or a big whatever. Oh, she is the monster queen, but there aren't monsters for it. So then the Monster King like shoots out things. So for her, she's got 3 different elemental things that she summons. She's got the water one that just drops out those thingies. She's got the wind one, which actually trace you a little bit as long as you kind of stay in one place until they're close to you. They usually miss. And then after she's got 2 of these guys summoned, she'll start to shoot the little tiny things right there. And the hitboxes for those are actually kind of BS because they'll start to shrink, but the hitbox is still the same size as if they were really big. So that gets a little bit annoying trying to deal with those. Might as well just finish her off because she's only got 2 million health and the other guy's got 37 million of it. So I'm probably going to finish her off, get some more dragon stuff out of here. I won't be able to do it during the video just because we're already really long right here. So she's a common one. If I go and check my other stuff, there'll be more bosses and things like that. Actually, I can do a normal run. So my last high score was 4,168. The dragons that I'm currently using, one gives me a 40% increase to item drop chance, and then a 40% increase to item duration, both from the same dragon, and that's what a legendary does. Rares, they only give you 40% duration or 40% drop. The guy on my left there gives me a 40% drop and 40% duration. So that pink thing that I picked up that looks like a little scab cell thing, whatever the heck, something out of Spore, that's a rush drop, which lets me do this. And then since I've got increased item chance and duration, the rushes last longer, and there's a higher chance that one of these guys in here that's lit up will end up dropping another rush anyway. So I've chained together 5-6 rushes before. I just sit here going like this. It's a little bit easier to use that when you're on the computer versus on the phone. So this is the Monster King. You didn't get to see his attacks because he's really weak. The monsters get stronger the farther into this you get, so whereas I just destroyed him instantly, if I encounter him later during this run, he will be a little bit stronger and last a little bit longer. And then Mildred is also one of the really easy ones. He's actually quite difficult when he gets to the higher levels, well, all of them are. Fluffy is probably the easiest in theory, but he actually gets really annoying because there's some things he does that just end up cheesing. So there we go, dropped another one. We ended up getting 3 rushes chained together there. It goes really fast, so it's hard to see it actually pop up if you just see like a little tiny bit of pink. So that's Mildred. She is a tree and she shoots out things. The easy way of fighting her is that whichever arm she holds up, the shots are going to go on the opposite side of the screen of that arm. And then there's also an ice guy who's really easy to fight unless he is a higher level as well. Once they get higher levels, they're just really hard. The Fluffy is actually a lot easier on a lower level because he doesn't move side to side. All it does is split. So if you just stay towards the edge of him, like over here, and just like kind of let your dragons hit him, you could fight him forever and he would never actually be able to damage you, like right now. So where I am, if he shoots down, he's just going to hit my dragon. Dragon doesn't count as me, and also the hitbox on my character is supposed to be just the center part of them. The wings are not part of my hitbox, but occasionally if I'm moving towards something, it'll register me being farther than my hitbox actually shows. And you do move slower when you're on your phone versus playing as this. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference. Obviously, if you've got a crappier phone, you're going to notice that there's a bit more lag or delay to things like that. Also, when I'm on computer, I don't get a little pop-up from a notification, because if you happen to be playing a boss with a friend and you're in the middle of the boss battle, they're fighting at the same time as you, it will pop up a notification, if you don't have them turned off, that says, hey, your friend, that you know that boss you're fighting right now, your friend literally just did more damage to them than you, and also you're going to not deal as much damage because you've got a notification on your screen, and you're going to die because you can't see what's going on. That was a large drop. So I've got the dragon on my left is, I believe, well, I just ran over too far. Anyway, the dragon on my left, yep, he's the upgraded version of one of the legendaries that I showed before. So he is the upgraded version of these guys right here. And I believe I have another one of these on a mission, so once I get that one leveled up, I can evolve him with this one and then evolve the two dragons together. And this guy right here is the upgraded version of Pong. I believe I have a normal version of him somewhere. Yep, there's two of them right there. So this one is actually a 3-star, so I'm leveling him up to 30. He doubles the gems for monsters. It says it's truly, truly outrageous, but there is a better version of him. So he just doubles the gems, but I have a legendary here that doubles the gems and has homing shadow attacks. So shadow attacks are best against ethereal beings, and then a lot of the characters have the ability to home. So some of the characters have the ability to double shot, which is like two-headed dragon. I think I have one here somewhere. Where is he? Must be over here. I've got a lot of dragons because I just opened up a bunch of them. So this is a two-headed dragon. It shoots out 2 by default. And then there's one, which is actually the first legendary that I got, is this guy right here. He's a 2-star now, but unleashes 2 bullets that seek out the monster. So you've got a double shot that seeks, and then you've got other ones that also have the thing. So you have ones that can shoot out and slow things down. You've got ones that can find treasure chests. Legendaries combine that, so you've got this one slows them down and finds your treasure chests. And the thing that I'm doing with my dragons is I don't care about any of these zodiacs down here. So if it weren't for the fact that they're legendaries, I would just get rid of them. So I level them up, sell them. Legendaries I keep. And then if they have the Scorpio, which for those of you that don't know, Scorpio is the M with the little tail on it. Not the tail with the little knot thing. I have one of them somewhere. Here, this thing. This thing is not a Scorpio. That thing's a Scorpio. So any rares that have Scorpio, I'm willing to keep, just so that way at some point I can get enough Scorpios to have them all with a Zodiac bonus by the time they get to 3 stars, which in order to do, you could have any of the 12 Zodiacs. So 1 in 12 is going to have, theoretically, the Zodiac you want. So then you may have to get 37 total dragons to be able to actually get a 3-star that has the Zodiac bonus. And that's not saying the specific Zodiac that you want, because I'm only keeping the Scorpios. I could get 1,000 dragons and never end up getting one that I can evolve up to the 3-star one. So I've got some Scorpios around, and they're actually ones that I don't bother leveling up right away, because I'm waiting until I get 4 of them. I can just level them all up right away, and as long as I keep them at level 1, I look at the Zodiac beforehand. If I kept them all at level 10, I'd be like, oh, I've got a level 10 here, sell it. I might not notice the Zodiac, because I've done that before where I've not paid attention to them. And the Zodiac bonuses really don't matter if you're just going to end up selling them anyway, so these two, they can match. This guy's actually kind of neat. He completes quest 25% faster, and that's not with the character that completes quests 50% faster. That's 25% of the original, 25% of the original, 50% of the original. So if you got a 2-hour quest, you're not going to take 50% off with a character, 25% off with a dragon, 25% off with a dragon, and complete it instantly. You're going to take off an hour with the character, and you're going to take off a few minutes and a few minutes with each dragon. Or, theoretically, it would be like a quarter, so that would be half an hour, but it's not going to take it off like that. It's going to take off the 25% of what's remaining. So if you take off an hour, it's going to take off 15 minutes, and if you've only got 45 minutes, it's going to take off even less. So that's the basic gist of the game. Hopefully I've explained the majority of it. The challenge missions down here are kind of BS because they always tell you to challenge a new player or something like that, and you're not going to want to be sending messages to all your friends. You don't want to be that person, so I just send it to the people that actually play it, and then every 10 days you're allowed to send it to another person that actually plays it. So as long as you've got 10 people who play the game, you can every 10 days get the little bonus down there, and the chest that they have is a magical one that might give you Arcana, and then the other one that might give you that special Sphinx thing that's right here. So, that guy. Which actually is a mythic sidekick. Cool. A homing attack that does 50% damage, and then plus 40%, or plus 40 item / coin reach. So I guess that gives you increased magnet to your character by default, even if you don't have it. 50% damage to bosses, and homing attacks, which quite interesting. Might have to look into getting him. Anyway, I need to get one more of the Ursus, and then I'll be able to get a 3-star of him. And if he isn't like put into the regular batch of legendaries after his event is over, then I'll end up combining all of them. So he's just a regular legendary. It doesn't say like raid legendary. Some of them do. This one's a legendary. Where's a raid legendary? Whoops. Legendary. Where's a raid? Here we go. Raid legendary. So this guy right here is from the specific raid event. I'm not sure if that's going to go away or if he's going to still be available in the eggs. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time already. By now you've decided you're either going to play it or you're not. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoy the game. Good luck with all of your dragon fighting and stuff like that. Feel free to keep me updated on what's all going on. Don't really use too much social media. I mean, I basically use Facebook for Messenger, and then I play the game. And then if people want to like tag me and stuff, I go and look at that. That's pretty much it. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.